Ken Christian here. I'm sitting outside, as you can see, taking a break from some other activities that I was doing earlier today, and came down to an area that's got a beautiful canopy of trees and outdoor tables, and people are sitting and mostly enjoying coffee in the shade. It's a warm day here in Sacramento. But anyway, I'm out here thinking a lot about the 90-day challenge, and I've been encouraged that several people now have expressed an interest in the possibility of doing a 90-day challenge. So I'm going to continue with the idea of how you choose. And here's one thing I want you to think about if you're picking a project. It's strongly interesting, incredibly interesting research from Harvard on happiness as a general topic. And one of the things that we tend to think is that for us to be happy, we need to have a lot of choices. Well, it turns out that research demonstrates pretty powerfully that when we have two choices and we have to choose between those two choices, and moreover, we're told that we have to choose on the spot, right then and there, and can't review and can't change the choice later. When all of those conditions are met, a very interesting thing happens. And that is that people pick between two choices, and then relatively quickly they're much more satisfied with the choice that they made than not making a choice. And if you compare those people who were forced to choose and do it right away and then stick to a choice, they are happier sooner than people who are given a week to decide, who never really wind up feeling like they're sure of a choice. And part of the reason is, in my opinion, the researchers don't necessarily draw this conclusion specifically, but part of the reason is that I believe when we have several choices, we start to kick in this idea that we have to make the perfect choice. And the perfect choice is an illusion. But moreover, we really do know what we want to do. I mean, the thing we say we might do, but then we might do the other, really, inside us, we do know which one we want and which one we prefer. And I'll tell you a story from my days of being a psychotherapist. I would often tell people who were saying they were caught between two choices, if I'd heard it long enough and I'd worked with them on a variety of ways to clarify what their real choice was, if they still stayed stuck, I would say, look, you're stuck. Obviously, these things are equal for you. You know, there are two choices that you could really live with, and you're just having a hard time deciding which one to do first. Why don't I flip a coin, and we'll decide based on what the coin comes up with, because you're not moving right now. And often they would agree to that. But then a very interesting thing happened. When it was, I had them choose while the coin was in the air, but let's say they chose heads. If it came up heads, they would smile sometimes and say, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess that's what I wanted to do. But then a very interesting thing would happen the other way around. I'd flip a coin. They'd say heads or tails or whatever, and let's say the other side came up. Often they would say, oh no, I don't want to do that. So that's anecdotal evidence. That's not a study that's done with controls and all that. But it supports the same thing that the researchers found out at Harvard, which is we probably do know how to choose. And I say all this and explain all this to you because if you're trying to make the perfect choice before you decide what to do for a 90-day challenge, first of all, it doesn't matter that much if you've got two or three that you could do. The difference isn't great. But inside you, the one you sort of prefer is really the better one for you. You'll like it more as soon as you decide, and you'll rid yourself of that battle that you think you have to engage in to do the perfect choice. So people are still deciding, the ones who've written to me, exactly what they'll do. So part of this is for them, but it's for you too, because I think there's more than just these two that have let me know they're seriously considering a challenge. In fact, one of them said, I am going to do it. and I'm just deciding on what it is. And the other one almost said the same thing. So, but there are lots of you out there. I've heard from people in a variety of ways telling me on Facebook posts and so on that they're liking the idea of the challenge and it's intriguing to them. So let's see what else happens. But for you, I can only say that the sooner you do this, the more you're going to get to experience this pleasure and just watch walls fall. But you do have to make it a public commitment, and you do have to sign some kind of agreement that you'll do something fairly serious. I made it monetary. In fact, that was what the comedian Kyle Cease insisted upon. And he wanted it to be about somebody political, which, he had the upcoming election on his mind. But whatever, think about it. You're gonna watch houses of cards fall before your eyes because a lot of your resistance is just old, toxic, bad trips that you put yourself through about analyzing and being too anal in that analysis. Okay, that's my thoughts for today. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.